Are you coming back to school with me? We could have done it all so easily.
Hi, my name is Craig Thompson-Wood. I'm your host on Teaching with Board Games. Here today, kicking it old school with Scrabble by Hasbro. Now, if you're following along with my videos, if you're a subscriber and you've noticed that I've done 2 Kicking It Old Schools this month, it's, well, because I have really no schedule for when I do them. I'm not trying to do one per month, and if I do more than one in a month, so be it. I just actually had an idea of something I would like to do for a video next week, so it kind of makes sense to do Scrabble this week, and you'll see what I mean when you see the video next week, why I want to do Scrabble first. Anyway, before I get too much into Scrabble, let me take it to the table, and I'll show you how this game is played. Before you start the game, you have to determine who the first player is going to be. So the person on my left here pulls a tile and they get an L. Person on my right gets an E. So the person on the right has the letter which is closer to A, so they are the first player. The player on the right, being the first player, is going to start off, and they're going to start off here where the star is. They have to start on that word there, on that space. And this is a pink space, which you see everywhere else indicates it is a double word score. Now, they didn't get a U, which would have been cool, because they would have had the word squeal. So every tile is given a certain number of points. And the number of points relates to how rare or how difficult the word is to use in a word. Like A and S are very common. All the vowels are going to have 1 point each. Where Q is quite difficult because you need that U for starters to be able to use it. So it's worth 10 points if you can get it into a word. So what I might do with this one, now you can't go diagonally. You can only go orthogonally. Think of like a crossword puzzle. So I am making the word leads here. L-E-A-D-S. So this one doubles the letter score, so that's 2 points for that. 2, 4, 5, 6, 7 would be a total of 14 points, because remember, this one doubles the word score. So you're getting 14 points for this word. Once the person's done that, they would then take their 5 tiles back again, and you have 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Now the next player has to build off of that. They can't just put a word wherever they want. They have to attach it to that word somewhere. So they're going to look at the ones they have, and I might do something like K, K-E-E-N for keen. Okay, so now this is a double letter score, so that's 10 points for that. 2 points for that one because it's a double letter score there. So that's 10, 12, 13, 14. So each player is starting off with 14 points. Play is going to continue until such time that all the tiles are gone from the bag, and then one of the players empties their rack completely. That will then trigger the end of the game, and that will mean then that whichever player has the most points is the winner. Now, sometimes it's going to happen that the players can't use their tiles. If at any point both players pass twice, so play on the left passes, play on the right passes, play on the left passes, play on the right passes, at that point the game ends immediately too. It's assumed that neither player can come up with a move to make with their tiles that they have. So you will then take whatever score you have. You will then minus any points you have left on your tiles, and that will give you your final score. Whoever has the most points wins. Now, as you're playing Scrabble, like I said, you have to be watching for the tiles and strategically looking to try and get words that are going to fit onto those tiles. So we have double letter score, triple letter score, as well as the wonderful triple word score where you triple the words. It's also worth noting the letter distribution here, which shows you how many of each letter you can expect in the bag. So looking for that U, there's only 4 U's in the bag, but then there's also only the 1 Q. So that player is going to be watching out for some of those U's. As you're building your words, there are a few words which you cannot use. You cannot use proper nouns or names. You can't use foreign words, abbreviations, acronyms, freestanding prefixes or suffixes. So you couldn't use like un from unhappy. It has to be the full word. hyphenated words, don't put X-ray or words which have hyphens in them, and apostrophes. So you can use the word do, you can use the word not, but you cannot use the word don't. There's other rules too, which I'll leave you to discover if you're looking to play Scrabble. I just wanted to give you a quick sense of how the game is played, and that is it. That is how you play Scrabble. Let me take you to the report card. So if memory serves correctly, I was looking it up earlier, I think Scrabble came back in 1949, so it's been out for quite a while. And I know a lot of people talk about the educational benefits of Scrabble. They talk about what a great game it is for learning and such. Let me tell you what I think, though. Let me take it to the report card, and I'll give you my thoughts. So look at the report card for Scrabble. I'm going to give the number of players a B. It plays between 2 to 4 players, and that's my standard for a B, so it gets the B. In learning for Scrabble, I'm going to give the game a B+. B+ because it's a game which is very educational in its very core. It has, you're learning about like spelling and letters and putting things together. Plus, there's a lot of math involved when you're adding up the pieces, the totals for every tile has a particular score. You're adding that up, and if you're on a double word score or a triple word score, then that's going to multiply your points. So there's all this little math going on as you're going through it. So those things are baked right into the game, and so there's really no hidden surprises here. It is what it is with Scrabble. It's right there up front, sort of the educational things that you're getting from it, and for that I give it the B+. For fun for Scrabble, I'm going to give it a C. I give it the C. I know some people are going to disagree with me. They think Scrabble's the best game ever, and I mean, that's the thing. I mean, people are always going to be disagreeing about what's the best game out there, what are, this game's better and that game's better, whatever. For me personally, I think Scrabble's outdated now, and I think there are better games for it. It's okay. It's a decent game and it's fine, but it's not that great. I think there's definitely better games out there, which is a little hint for next week. So overall, really, to me, it's just a C. For time, I'm going to give the game a B. And I give it the B because it's got some really bad things about its time limits, and I've got some really good things about its time limits. So it kind of balances out altogether into the B. So let's start talking about the bad. So the bad thing is it takes about 90 minutes to play a game. Well, that's what they said on Board Game Geek, is it takes 90 minutes to play a game of Scrabble. I seem to recall it taking longer than that. It's been a long time since I've played Scrabble, but I seem to recall it taking a lot longer than 90 minutes. And that may be due to me and maybe some of the other people as well, just taking time looking through dictionary to try and find, is this a word, is that a word, I've got these letters, and trying to imagine what I could make of it. Is this actually a word? And just really eating up a lot of time with that. So if you're going to play, especially if you're going to play with me, make sure you put the people on a timer. It's just going to help the game to move along and not have people drag out just agonizing over what's the best word I can make with these particular letters. Just get a word out there, whatever you can, and stop trying to just get the best that you can and holding up the game and delaying the turn for everybody else, making it a boring experience for the other people waiting just because you're trying to use the letters the best you can for your words. So. But now here's the good part. The good part of the game is as you're playing, there's really nothing to say that you can't just play up until a certain time limit. Rather than playing to the logical end of the game, which is when a certain number of tiles is reached, you could just be playing until, if you say like, okay, we've got like 5 minutes left in class or 5 minutes left in the recess or whatever, and students play until that time, and whoever has the most points at that time, assuming everybody's had the same number of turns, will be declared the winner. Right? There's nothing to say that you have to finish the game, as the game rules say. So, in that way, like I said, the bad thing of the actual length of time of the game being long versus the who says you have to play that long balances out B. For cost, I'm going to give the game a B. The game costs about $26 at Level Up Games. You can probably find this game in thrift stores if you look there. Thrift stores and things, you're just running the risk of getting a game that doesn't have all the pieces in it. It may have lost a tile or two. But as I say, you have to look beyond just the cost of the game and what's inside it to get the true sense of the value. I mean, you're getting the board, you get the pieces, and you get the racks to hold your tiles on. So is that worth the $26? Well, what are you going to do with it? I mean, if you're going to be using this game a lot, which you could do in classroom settings and things like that, then yes, it's definitely going to be worth your money. You could be using the tiles in different ways, and there's something maybe I can explore in future episodes, is how people are using the Scrabble tiles in ways outside of the Scrabble game. And the game certainly has a lot of replayability. So in that way, I think you are getting the money's worth. I also think, though, that there's better value for your money in other games, which again is what I'll be talking about next week. So overall, I think it's a fine purchase, but I think there's probably better ones out there. All right, let me take you to my final thoughts. So Scrabble is a game which would work well in a classroom setting, in a indoor recess for sure, although it's not very, indoor recess tend not to be that long. You know, in our school it's only like 20 minutes, so it's not going to be a long time to be playing the game. If you could maybe put it aside safely, then the students can have it, or maybe take a picture of where they were left off. Or as a class, you know, during a class time as a center, you know, when students are working in different centers, this could be one of the centers that they're doing, is playing a Scrabble game. But again, when we look at the thing next week, what I'll be talking about is Scrabble and games which are better than Scrabble, for especially when you're looking at classroom situations. So I'll be talking about some, you know, depending on your grade levels and things, there's different games which might be more appropriate for you than Scrabble. So that will be the topic for next week. So tune in for that one. So I think that there's educational value in this one, and if you want to pick it up, great, because you know what, you are more likely to find this game in a thrift store than you are some of these other games, which I'm going to talk about next week. And you can, you know, use the components in different ways. Again, you're not under contract to use the Scrabble tiles as a part of the Scrabble game. You can take them out and use them however you want, but as purchasing the game for the game's sake, like I said, I think you can certainly do that if you want, but I also think that there's better choices. So if you're new to my channel, then what I'm doing is I'm putting out content on a weekly basis around topics of gamification, game-based learning, talking about games like Scrabble and how it can be used in classroom situations to help us to learn in different ways. I myself am a teacher with a Peel District School Board and have been so for the last 20-something years, and make as much use of games and gamification in my classrooms as possible, just because I know it's a really motivating, fun way to learn, and I just would love to see more teachers employing this in their regular practice, and I think the students would appreciate that too. If this sounds good to you, then please do remember to hit like and subscribe down below, even that little bell icon next there to tell you when I'm putting out new content, which, like I said, is on a weekly basis. If you have any ideas for content you might like to see on the channel, if you want me to review a particular game or talk about a book that you would know about that's about gamification, game-based learning, or interview somebody that you would think you'd like to hear from, then please leave me that message in the comment section below. Love to hear from the viewers, as it helps me to give you relevant content. And that is going to wrap it up for today's episode. Until next time, I'm Craig Thompson-Wood, your host on Teaching with Board Games, saying thanks for coming to the classroom.
Are you coming back to school?